he has an all-time great chin going in the ring with tremendous punchers. Terence Crawford coming up 2 weight classes, do any damage? Yeah, he's a slick boxer, and he's also a good puncher in the welterweight division, in the junior welterweight division, in the lightweight division.
But I do believe that if you can box and you can move, that you can beat Canelo. You can outpoint him.
Of the opponent. But anybody that's watched Terence Crawford's career knows full well how much talent this young man has. I mean, he is absolutely sensational, both as an orthodox and as a southpaw fighter. You can't really tell which is his favoured side.
Sports commentators Dan Rafael and Stephen A. Smith shared their thoughts on a potential clash between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. They argued that Alvarez, once known for having an unshakable chin, has shown more vulnerability in recent bouts, taking clean shots and appearing hurt at times. In contrast, Crawford's mix of fluid movement, precise timing, and respectable power makes him a particularly difficult opponent. In their view, Crawford has the skill set to not only outbox Alvarez, but also cause real damage over the course of the fight.
I think Terence Crawford is a marvelous boxer, arguably the best in the world, pound for pound. But can you hurt Canelo? If you can't hurt him, I have no doubt he can outbox him. My issue is, if you can't hurt him, what kind of a challenge can you truly pose? What do you say to that?
No, that's a great point. I mean, here's the thing. Canelo Alvarez has a historically great chin. Now, I go back way back when he first came to the United States and started boxing, and he found himself on an HBO pay-per-view undercard years and years ago, fighting against the older brother of the great Miguel Cotto. His name was Jose Miguel Cotto, and he had gotten a ton of hype. He had signed with Golden Boy Promotions, and a lot of those of us in the media. And I had seen him a couple of times before that. This is my first time seeing him in person, really paying close attention. And he almost got knocked out in the first round. And I remember Stephen A., all of us looking around at Media Row going, what the heck is this all hype about? This man can't take a shot. He's going to get drilled. He was lucky that the fight was over, that the round was over in round 1, or there might have been some much more trouble. Stephen A., that was 16, 17 years ago. I've never seen him wobbled, rocked, physically, visibly hurt since then. He has an all-time great chin going in the ring with tremendous punchers. Terence Crawford coming up 2 weight classes, do any damage? Yeah, he's a slick boxer, and he's also a good puncher in the welterweight division, in the junior welterweight division, in the lightweight division. But even at junior middleweight, which is where Terence Crawford had his most recent fight back in August, when he moved up and he won a world title, he didn't blow the doors off. He fought a very tough, solid opponent named Israel Madrimov. He gave him a good fight. It was very close. Madrimov's people seem to think he might have even been able to edge it out. But if you can't hurt an Israel Madrimov at 154, what the heck are you going to do with Canelo Alvarez, the sturdiest guy in the world, at 168? So that aspect of it is certainly a problem. You mentioned about Charlo. Charlo was there to get his check. I know one thing about Terence Crawford. He's not going to just come to turn up to get the check. He'll at least try. And Charlo, I don't think, really tried.
Stephen A. Smith offers a strong and clear stance when discussing the potential matchup between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. He openly backed Crawford, expressing full belief in his chances to come out on top. In Smith's view, what separates Crawford isn't just his polished skill set in the ring, but also the deep hunger pushing him to claim such a victory. He stressed that Crawford's mentality and determination to prove himself could be the deciding factors. Smith's unwavering confidence highlights the respect he has for Crawford's ambition and relentless preparation.
You got a love for boxing.
Yes, love boxing.
Who's gonna win the fight, man? That's coming up, the biggest
Crawford.
fight in boxing.
Crawford.
Huh?
Crawford. I'm not hesitating. Crawford. I'm not even hesitating. Crawford.
You gonna stand on that all the way to September 13th?
I love Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo by decision. I can't see anybody knocking out Canelo Alvarez. But I do believe that if you can box and you can move, that you can beat Canelo. You can outpoint him.
That's right.
When I think about Canelo, one of the things that I don't like about Canelo, despite his greatness, and a neck as wide as Broadway for crying out loud.
Right.
It's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yeah.
That's not beating Crawford. I will confess, I think Gervonta Davis's trainer, Cal, I think he said this. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble if he decides to engage with Canelo, because Canelo is the naturally bigger, strong fighter. And I don't care that Crawford's gotten bigger, and I don't care that Crawford's gonna go in there just as big as Canelo. Canelo is accustomed to fighting at the weight, and Crawford is not. And Canelo is a genius in this regard. You don't see him show up for fights not ready. He's always
He's
ready.
always prepared.
He's always ready.
gotta
He's
give him
always
that.
prepared. So I think he's the slower fighter, though. And I think that Crawford is brilliant as a boxer. And I think that between switching to conventional and southpaw, using his jab and movement, I think that Crawford is going to outpoint Canelo because he's faster. But I don't think he's gonna knock him.
Teddy Atlas backed Crawford by stressing that in boxing, skill outweighs size. He argued that factors like weight and reach matter less when facing someone with superior technique. For Atlas, Crawford's game is built on accuracy, timing, and the ability to adjust, traits that often prove more decisive than raw strength. He suggested that while Canelo's power and physical presence are assets, they lose impact against a fighter who can break opponents down with refined skill. Atlas's perspective reinforces the idea that true craftsmanship in the ring can overcome physical disadvantages and change the course of the fight.
A little overrated.
Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez at 168 pounds.
Canelo's really good. Really good. But I think Crawford is special. I know he hasn't fought the resume everyone wants, but you have that or you don't have that ingredient. I think he has it. Canelo's really good. He's tremendous. But could he be a tiny bit overrated? The greatness is within Crawford. It's in his desire. It's in his mind. It's in his makeup, where he came from. I know he's moving up in weight class, can carry it, but those intangibles, I believe that he has them.
Al Bernstein pointed out another key element of Crawford's skill set, his unpredictability. Unlike fighters who rely on a set pattern, Crawford constantly adjusts during a bout, forcing opponents to second-guess what's coming next. This adaptability poses a particular challenge for Canelo, a fighter who depends heavily on timing and counterpunching. Bernstein also highlighted Crawford's ability to switch seamlessly between orthodox and southpaw, a trait that adds yet another layer of complexity. That kind of versatility makes it tougher for Canelo to read incoming shots, increasing the chances of him being caught by combinations he doesn't anticipate.
Fans or most people would probably say Crawford, I'm guessing, because that's a big part of how he's won, and everybody feels that and rightfully so, that the way he's figured out, he's constantly changing from lefty to righty. He's a person that alters his attack. Sometimes he's a boxer, sometimes he's walking people down. Canelo's style is more the same in most fights. He is a counterpuncher who's waiting for you to make your move so he can counterpunch you. Then when he has you in trouble, he's willing to move forward. His attack is a pretty straightforward one. On the face of it, you might say Crawford, but I think the thing about Canelo Alvarez is that he has seen every style that you could see.
Gareth A. Davies focused on Crawford's depth of experience, noting that the American has been professional for more than 15 years. That time in the sport, he explained, has sharpened Crawford's instincts, raised his ring intelligence, and allowed him to stay composed even in the most intense situations. Davies emphasized that Crawford's abilities have never been in doubt, with a track record that shows consistent success against elite opposition. Throughout his career, Crawford has handled a wide range of styles, heavy hitters, slick boxers, and battle-tested veterans, always finding a way to adapt and prevail. This combination of patience, skill, and versatility has established him as one of the most complete fighters of his era. For Davies, that level of experience offers Crawford a major edge when imagining a potential clash with Canelo Alvarez.
That he's gone through, the weights that he's gone through, and the opponents that he has been in with. He's come up short against a couple, but he's come through some big challenges as well through his, 65, 66 professional bouts since he was 15 years of age. There's no doubt that this is the biggest test of Terence Crawford's career, not only because of the weight step up, but also because of the level of the opponent. But anybody that's watched Terence Crawford's career knows full well how much talent this young man has. He is absolutely sensational, both as an orthodox and as a southpaw fighter. You can't really tell which is his favoured side. He's that good, the angles that he creates, and the way that he not only dissects people, but the way that he puts his foot down when he gets somebody hurt is
he's spiteful.
He's truly, truly impressive.
But what he also does, and this is where I think people are making the mistake with the fight with Israel Madrimov last summer in Los Angeles, was that Terence doesn't mind doing enough to win. He doesn't, if he knows he's got to win on points, he's happy to tuck everything neatly in the office and win round by round. It reminds me of Floyd Mayweather. It reminds me of Pernell Whitaker. It reminds me of guys that win with ease without overstretching themselves, that don't have to get in a battle. But when he's got someone hurt, as you rightly say, he's spiteful. I'm not sure he'll get Canelo hurt in this fight, but if his timing and his movement are on, the slightly slowed Canelo, who likes to load up these days, could find himself frustrated by Terence Crawford.
Yeah, and there's also the aspect of when he is behind. I mean, we've all seen that famous clip where he's fighting Sean Porter. Somebody sells him ringside. They've got him down on the cards. He goes through the gears and stops Sean Porter in the very next round. There's also that element to him. He's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant, but he's also fighting someone that's equally as brilliant. A very different type of style, Canelo.
And a fan favourite.
Confidence is a common thread in discussions about Crawford. One analyst noted that both his fights and his gym work have left lasting impressions on trainers and sparring partners alike. Accounts from those who work with him suggest that Crawford regularly demonstrates his sharpness and dominance, even when the cameras aren't on. This level of consistency reflects a fighter who is always disciplined and fully prepared. The confidence gained from such steady excellence builds his mental edge, allowing him to enter the ring with a belief that he can outthink and outperform anyone, including Canelo Alvarez.
So confident. He's so confident that he's about to become undisputed. Listen, 2 weeks to go, less than 2 weeks to go now. What? We're talking about 12 days. 12 days. What can we expect from this unbelievable showdown? Listen, the buildup has been absolutely incredible. When you talk about the sparring stories, when you talk about the unbelievable rumors that we've been hearing for the past 10 to 12 weeks. Will but Crawford's power carry? Will Canelo age overnight? So many questions that we have when it comes to this unbelievable fight. But not too long to go, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to find out the truth. We are about to find out who's truly the greatest of this era. And let me tell you this. I said this in most of my videos so far. The more I watch Bud Crawford and the more I watch Canelo Alvarez tape, the more my appreciation for both men increases. Listen, Canelo is the greatest pressure/counter puncher in history when he puts both together. And Crawford is the most dynamic fighters my eyes ever saw. Ever saw. Now, listen to this. The moment this fight got announced, we didn't know the things that we know now. We didn't know about their sparring partners. We didn't know about the shape that they were gonna come in for this fight.
Comedian and avid boxing enthusiast Ari Spears offered a historical lens on potential showdown. He reflected on decades of memorable clashes where Mexico's top champions squared off against American fighters celebrated for their speed and finesse. In many of those matchups, the Americans prevailed thanks to superior defense, slick movement, and well-timed counters. Spears acknowledged that Canelo is a highly accomplished, well-rounded fighter who has faced elite opposition. Still, he framed this fight as part of a long-standing stylistic rivalry, one where timing, defense, and adaptability often end up being the deciding factors.
Hispanic fighter, put him against the top-notch black fighter, the black dude usually edges him out. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the Latino fighters, because look at the greats. De La Hoya, motherfucking
Roberto Duran,
Arguello, Felix Trinidad, what's my man's name? Chavez. So there have been legends, but 9 times out of 10, when the top Mexican legend takes on the top black legend, the black dude wins. Boxing and basketball is just something that niggas just, we got that wop that just, we edge you out. Duran lost to Hagler. He got knocked out so viciously by Hearns. The rumor is he's still waking up today. He lost he did the no mas with Leonard.
Yeah, no, I've been hanging out with Sugar Ray Leonard recently. We talked about that whole situation.
De La Hoya lost to Floyd. He lost to Bernard. He lost to Sugar Shane Mosley. Usually the black fighters edge out the Latinos when it come down to it.
So basically you're saying Crawford's gonna win because he's black?
I'm saying he's gonna win because he's got skills. But that black component, that's that extra juice.
That's that extra juice? I mean, look.
It's like the Batmobile when it's going fast, and then he hits the nitro button, and the flame shoots out of the back of the car and takes it to another level. Black dudes have the nitro switch.
On the other side, Canelo Alvarez carries his trademark confidence. He makes it clear that he doesn't need validation from others, insisting his legacy speaks for itself. For Canelo, self-belief has always been at the core of his fighting identity, backed by a resume filled with wins over world-class opponents. At the same time, this mindset draws a contrast with Crawford. While Crawford is driven to prove himself with a career-defining victory, Canelo presents himself as a fighter who has already secured his place at the top of the sport.
You know you're gonna have, right? They can't deny you anymore.
I don't know, but I don't give a fuck. So I feel I'm the best, and that's it. I don't focus on if the people say or put me in the first position, I'm the best. I feel I'm the best. I'm doing because I love boxing.
I call Canelo out because, like I said, he the last great fighter amongst the era that surpassed us. This is my mega fight. This is my moment.
You didn't have much interest in this Crawford fight. You were saying that there wasn't much in it for you, and you pointed out that people will say that he was too small. What changed?
I think he's one of the best fighters for more fun. No, he accomplished a lot of things too. Mexican with the American fighter is always big.
When he fights you at Allegiant Stadium, I imagine it's going to be, 55,000 plus screaming Canelo fans, right? Many from Mexico.
Sean Porter spoke with absolute certainty about Terence Crawford's chances against Canelo Alvarez. In his view, Crawford's focus and preparation are operating at a level rarely seen in the sport. Porter believes Crawford will enter the ring with a carefully tailored strategy built to neutralize Canelo's strengths. He pointed to Crawford's speed, precise timing, and disciplined execution as the qualities that could set him apart on fight night. Porter envisioned performance so complete that it might reshape expectations in modern boxing, elevating Crawford's status with one of the most decisive victories in recent memory. The fight itself is being billed as a defining chapter in Crawford's career. Many see Canelo as the toughest and most accomplished opponent he has ever faced, making the stakes enormous. But the pressure weighs heavily on Canelo too. A loss to a naturally smaller fighter, moving up in weight, could leave a lasting mark on his legacy. Boxing history has often judged those moments harshly, especially when a bigger champion falls to a lighter challenger. For Canelo, then, this fight is about far more than pride. It is essential to preserving his place among the sport's all-time greats.
Legacy. And he gave a resounding yeah. A resounding yeah. He said it would massively tarnish Canelo's legacy. And some of the things that he said were just basically things that most of us know, just some register and make sure that other people know and others don't, right? But it would tarnish his legacy, and for the obvious reasons. One is, we know that the guy's older. Crawford's older. He's going to be 38 years old here, right? So he's an older fighter. He's an active fighter, right? And that most of the time, these are things that, make people say that people are going to lose. Man, he's inactive. So he's pretty inactive, hasn't fought in a year, hasn't fought more than once a year in 3 to 4 years, maybe even 5 years. And also, he's coming up in weight.
Showbiz the Adult, a respected voice in boxing commentary, took a balanced view of the Crawford-Canelo matchup. He emphasized that Canelo's success has always been rooted in toughness, physical strength, and relentless pressure, with sharp counterpunching and the ability to gradually wear down opponents. Canelo's durability and knack for setting traps make him a constant threat in the ring. At the same time, Showbiz highlighted Crawford's wrestling background, which helped shape his sense of balance, control, and anticipation. When paired with his high-level boxing IQ, these traits give Crawford a rare advantage that few fighters can match.
Legs, he uses his core and then his neck itself to lift up Bivol like Bivol was a featherweight. that is a huge representation of how strong Canelo is. When you look at his workouts, you can tell why he was able to do that. All these damn neck exercises that I wouldn't dare do. Okay, that stuff looks painful. The squatting and all that stuff that he's doing is exactly why Canelo Alvarez, honestly, is a strong fighter. He tried to do it again with William Skull. William Skull shook out of it, but he is a bull. Listen, Terence Bud Crawford is strong. He is, okay? And he understands leverage and he understands those things because he wrestled. Honestly, very true. But Saul Canelo Alvarez is also extremely strong. Now, let me know how you feel in the comments below.
That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this breakdown of the Crawford versus Canelo matchup, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more fight analysis, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think comes out on top?